What is going on, my New York Giants family? What is going on? I got a special guest on today. I got Real Mace Black. Man, if y'all don't know, this is one of my favorite people on Twitter, dog. If and you can find his Twitter description, excuse me, you can find his Twitter link. I apologize in the description. I can't talk today. Um, and you can follow him there, man. Talks New York Giants. If you really want to look at the draft prospects and get unbiased opinions on the New York Giants, this is the guy to follow. But Mace, how you doing, brother? How you been? I appreciate you stopping by, man.
Yo, his squad, man, it's going good, bro. Appreciate the intro. I'm doing good, bro. Just excited, bro. Excited. This is my first time doing the channel, so just ready to get at it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Love
sir.
talking Giants, man. It's like peace.
Oh, yeah, man. And that's why, honestly, here at the Big Blue Crew, if I'm not live, someone in the crew is live. And we talk in New York Giants all the time. We talk other topics as well throughout the league and other sports. But again, I appreciate you making the time out to stop by, man. I promise you guys, this is going to be a really good episode. We're going to have some stuff we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about free agency. You guys already know we got to talk about the Logan Ryan cut, what's going on with James Bradbury, how this draft is going to pan out now, or how we think this draft could pan out now, at least. But before we do that, join the Hit Squad and let's get into this chat, man. DMAT Warrior, what is good? Thanks for stopping by, man. Mark the Blue Giant, thank you for stopping by, brother. Neymar, appreciate you stopping by. He says Deshaun Watson to the Browns. Yes, sir. I think that was honestly a surprising signing by the Browns. I really thought he was going to the Falcons, man.
Yeah, same. I thought that was kind of sealed up. But I think Watson is better off with the Browns than Atlanta. It's real interesting.
Facts.
So
Facts. I agree with you, man, because when you look at the Browns, the fact that they didn't have to give up any players in this trade, I mean, they still got that stout offensive line. They still got a solid defense. They just signed Amari Cooper. So, I mean, I'm really excited. That division is going to be insane because now you got Joey Burrow, who just came back from a Super Bowl loss. He's looking for something to prove. But just the AFC in general, man. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I feel like that's the way the league is gonna go. I mean, you gotta have one of these top quarterbacks, man. I know some
absolutely.
people may not agree with that, but with how this league is going, I mean, it's gonna be looking like a shootout for a lot of teams, man. I mean, whew, I'm really excited for that AFC West though.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely, bro. Like you said, just to piggyback off you, bro. Like Baker, however you want to identify him, unbiasedly, what he's a middle of the pack, maybe ahead of the middle of the pack, but
mhm.
he's still not that top tier. He's still not that top 8, top 10 guy. And the Browns felt like, you know what, we have to upgrade the position. And it's interesting because they can still trade Baker. So I'm just wondering what assets they get back for Baker. You know what I mean? If they can get 2-3 picks for Baker, a second, a fourth, and
Yeah.
a fifth, shit. You know what I mean? They it just helps. It just helps. So
No, I agree, man. I mean, when it comes with Baker, I mean, if he were to go to a team like the Colts, they don't have a first round pick this year. So would they have to give up a second, maybe a conditional second, kind of what they did with the Carson West situation, where if he plays a certain amount of times, that becomes a first? I don't know. I'm not too sure. Or if he goes to a team, let's say like Carolina, I mean, would they be willing to move off that sixth pick? I don't think so. I think that's a little rich for Baker Mayfield,
same.
if I'm being honest. But I agree. I think it's going to take a couple picks for sure. Super Taj, appreciate you stopping by, man. Big play Slay. Coach Ed, my brother, peace and blessings. Thanks for stopping by. Mace says, Mace, my guy. Mark the Blue Giant. Hey, I follow Mace. He a dog for real. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you.
Appreciate the dogs.
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
some of the following is in here, man.
I'm loving it, man, for real. And again, y'all can find him on Twitter. His link will be in the description, guys. Big Blue Corner, what's going on? Jaden Alvis, what's going on? All right, let's get into this, man. So free agency, I think you and I could both agree, has been insane throughout the league this whole offseason. I mean, it honestly feels that Brady coming back. I mean, that feels so long ago at this point, at least for me. With how shit's been going. I mean, I'm gonna just keep
True.
it honest with you, bro. It's like it's just insane. I mean, and there's still a lot of good players, in my opinion, or maybe 8 good players out in free agency still that teams can pick up. I mean, you still have Teron Onstead, you still have Bobby Wagner, just to name a few. It's going to be very interesting to see how free agency play pans out. But what was your, I guess, most surprising free agent signing throughout the league?
That's that's a good question.
For sure.
Let me let me think about this. Maybe the Christian Kirk. Uh, that one was
Okay.
it was the
Okay.
pricing on that. You know what I mean? I was just like, whoa! I think it was 21 million for Christian
Yeah.
Kirk for that.
It's a lot of money, boy. That's a lot of money. You telling me? I mean, he's never had 1,000 yard season, and I get that they're trying to build around this kid Trevor Lawrence, but I mean, it's Florida. I mean, we don't got state income tax. I just don't understand why you feel like you got to overpay. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
because
I
you're.
don't think
I don't
anybody can
know.
explain that
It,
contract. It was just
bro, it
like,
don't make no sense. I mean, unless this is because I was talking to a friend about this actually. I mean, maybe because you are the Jaguars, you guys kind of have been poverty. Let's be real. You guys had that one spark with Blake Bortles. Y'all almost went to the Super Bowl, but it's been turmoil since then. You're coming off of the Urban Meyer situation. I mean, you think you're gonna have to pay a couple of these players a little bit of extra to come down there to Jacksonville? I mean, if
true,
if you're gonna go to Florida, I mean, you got Tampa there, you got Miami there. I mean, you're not too far, so you could go to Atlanta. If you wanted to, that's not far from Florida. So it's like, to for me at least, I feel like the Jaguars may
a
may have had
bribe.
to overpay some of these players, man. Not bribe, but well, actually, when you kind of look at it that way, shit, you got to pay these players extra than their value is just to come to your damn city. So I mean, yeah, I mean, when we put it that way, I mean, I'll be real with you. I think for me, the most surprising was Russell Wilson. At least I didn't think he was going to go to Denver, personally. I heard that there was rumblings with the Eagles. I don't know how true that is. Um, but for me, I mean, I think Denver right now. N- I still got the Chiefs in that division. We were talking about it yesterday. I know some people got the Chargers. I know some people got the Raiders now because they got Devontae Adams. I still got the Chiefs, but to me, I think Russell Wilson, man. I mean, they were literally a quarterback away.
Yeah,
And I think they got that guy. They still got that young defense. I mean, yeah, they lost Noah Fant, but I just feel that they could pick up another tight end if they wanted to. And regardless, they got a multitude of weapons on that offensive side of the ball. So they're gonna be fine getting the ball around. Um, but let's get into this, right? With the New York Giants, man. I mean, again, I love your takes on the Giants. It's unbiased, it's unfiltered. What's your thoughts on free agency so far? I mean, I really want to hear what you got to say because I've been seeing not just people in Giants chats, but on Twitter as well. There's fans out there that are upset with how free agency has panned out for the New York Giants. So a lot of people didn't like the Tyrod Taylor signing. Which I mean, we could talk about that. I have no problems with that. I actually really like the signing. I saw people upset about the Ricky Seals signing. So I really want to get your thoughts on how free agency is going so far.
got you. Um, I'm pretty cool with it. I had a just going off what Joe Shane and Dable have put out there on record.
Oh, we still got you?
You hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you, man.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna go out there and spend money. I always thought we were gonna get those second class or second tier type of free agent signings, and that's kind of what it's been. I was looking for like a James Daniels or a Connor Williams. But that's I think that's just because I like those zone scheme type of blockers. I think the two blockers that they got, John Feliciano and Mark Lewinsky, they can do both. I think that's what Dable did down in the Bills. The tight end side, and I'm not too. I think it was just a depth signing. I don't think it really holds no weight. I think they're definitely going to identify their tight end and try to get that.
Oh, did we lose you again?
Say it again, bro.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if it cut out. My bad. I apologize. Um, but nah, Mace. I mean, look, I agree with you. I mean, on the Ricky Seals signing, I think I think he's a solid number three. I think if he can, play up to expectation, maybe a number two. But I don't think that that's your number one tight end. I think if they wanted a number one tight end in free agency, they would have maybe looked to pick up an Austin Hooper. Then maybe they throw money at Mo Alley Cox. I mean, he signed a contract with the Indianapolis Colts. But for me, I mean, I think you and I are around, the same thought. Where I mean, for what we had to work with and where my expectations are with this team, I think that the New York Giants are doing pretty fair with free agency at the moment. I know that we had to wait and see with some of these players like Mark Lewinsky, um, with John Feliciano. For me, I think that they are two pretty good players. I like Mark Lewinsky a little bit more, but John Feliciano,
Same.
I mean, you're getting a starter at center. At worst case scenario, maybe next year if he's on the team, that's your depth piece. Maybe you could kick him out to guard. But for me, I'm really liking this Joe Shane era so far. Um, I was pretty surprised with the Logan Ryan cut. We spoke about this yesterday, but I want to get your thoughts on the Logan Ryan cut yesterday. James Bradbury, we could dip into as well. But were you shocked when Logan Ryan was cut? When you got that notification?
Yeah, everybody. I seen a few people. You had Pat Leonard, who I don't really like, but he
Oh, I
he had
dislike
hit
the hell out of him, bro. You
he,
good?
he hit that, and I think Dan Duggan was hitting at that shit in the combine, and then some of the
Hmm.
draft Twitter, Giants Twitter was like, get rid of Logan, and I always looked at it from a financial standpoint. Like I was just like, it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like these Twitter GMs, they all into the numbers, and I'm like, all right, you only saved 700K, so
Yeah.
why would you create another hole? You know what I mean? I I don't know what it was about. I don't know if it was just, some say it just was like a wink thing. He just doesn't fit the system. I thought he can fit the system. Um, it may have been the Joe Judge theory that he was a Judge Joe guy, but I don't believe in that. It hit me left field because at the end of the day, we have another hole. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And we already had enough holes to fill in a draft, and it's just like, can we really afford to spend a day two, early day three pick on a safety? Even maybe even a day one. You know what I mean? Because we don't
Yeah.
know how they look at or evaluate Cal Hamilton. So it's interesting to watch. I didn't dislike Logan. I just wanted to use him as a stopgap guy, kind of,
Hmm.
and then like next year really address the position. Maybe you could do a day two, day three after you done filled your holes. That's what
Yeah.
I stand
Yeah.
on it, bro.
Nah, and you know what? You make a good point there, man. I mean, for me, I didn't understand why you cut him now. I mean, on one hand, you give him the respect. He is your captain, or your former captain at this point. Let him go to a team that's contending early in free agency, as opposed to maybe a team that would have picked him up already addressed their position, right? But for me, I mean, you're saving $775,000. And if you would have cut him, even if you had the intentions to cut him June 1st, it's a difference of 3.5 million. So, you cut him right now, you save 775,000. June 1st, 3.5 million. I didn't understand that logic, and I agree with you. Could the Giants have afforded to put a hole where a hole wasn't before in their secondary? And now that's something that they got to think about. Do they maybe go get a Deshaun Elliott in free agency from the Ravens? Do they now I mean, is Kyle Hamilton now in play? And look, I'll be honest with you. I like Kyle Hamilton as a player. I like Sauce Gardner as a player, as a prospect. But for me, man, I just can't. I can't justify taking a cornerback or a safety in the first round. I gotta be honest
Really?
with you. I
Wow.
can't. I can't.
So
I
corner,
could.
yeah. Well,
I mean,
it depends on Bradbury for me. For me,
yeah.
if
I mean,
Bradbury is here or not, the corner, I think so. But safety, it's a. Some people look at it in many ways. I feel like Hamilton is like a luxury pick. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, it
if we didn't
is.
have all these needs, then we could. But safeties, they affect the game. I feel like much more than 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Like if you just look around the league, offensive coordinators, what they're doing on Tuesday and Wednesday, they're circling mismatches. That's what Cal Shanahan and McVay with all emotion and
Hmm.
tight formations and
Yep.
bunches. Cooper Cup, you see it all day. How many times is he on a safety or a linebacker?
Yeah.
It's all about that. So I think your safeties kind of matter a little more than some people realize because they
Mhm.
just have this old ideology on it. But the league is evolving, and so our positions are evolving. So you need a good safety back there, or you're gonna have a long day.
I mean, and I agree with you there, but I got to be honest with you. I think we have two pretty good safeties, and one of them I think he's leaning towards. Yeah, I think he could be great at some point in his career, and Xavier McKinney.
Yes, sir.
I think that kid, and don't get me wrong, chat, and don't get me wrong, Mace as well. I'm not saying that Kyle Hamilton and McKinney wouldn't be, in my opinion, the best safety tandem in the league, but I just feel that Julian Love. I look. I'm not
Give him
saying
a
that he's
shot.
going to be your. I would. I'm not saying he's going to be your starter going forward, but I mean, give this guy a year of starting. He's always that rotational piece. I mean, and I think he plays fair for when and how we've used him, in my honest opinion. Now, I'm not. If we go out there and get a Kyle Hamilton, I'm not going to be pissed. I mean, I'm going to be excited to see how the secondary looks, but I can't, man. I'm really looking at the offensive line and the edge for me, man.
Oh yeah, those are bigger. Those are bigger needs. I think it's just so interesting because Wink he prioritizes the safeties and DBs. I like Love. I would like to see Love in that role. You know what I mean? I think he can cover, which Wink's he acts to do a lot. I think he's a good tackler. I don't know how he is as a blitzer, but it'd be interesting to see Love step up and see what we got in him.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you got a good point there, but I mean, at the same time, Mace, I mean, this kid's played out in different situations. We've had him play outside for us. We've had him play in the slot. We've had him play both safety positions, so we know that he could be that ace that we need, even if it's for just a year. I mean, I really want to see this guy get a fair shake, and I think that McKinney. I think in Wing's system, not only is he going to thrive, and when you look how he played last year, I think that he can really build off of that. Um, but I want to
sure.
get to the chats real quick. We got my brother G Nation Inside Sports in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, bro. Classified Joel, the truth. I appreciate you stopping by. Again, we got Coach Ed, Joseph Clark. Thanks for stopping by. Giant Opinion Sports. Thank you for stopping by. Um, but
Yes,
again,
sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat right now.
yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. For real. It really does mean a lot. Peace and blessings, y'all. Joseph Clark says, for me, if Aquanu, Neal, Hutchinson, and Thibodeau are off the board, then anything is at play, including Gardner and Hamilton. I'll
Good
be
point.
honest with you, I wouldn't pick up both. I wouldn't mind picking up Gardner with, let's say it's that 5, and then at 7. Actually, nah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, would you reach for a cross there at 5? And I don't dislike cross, but I mean, I feel like at 5 that might be a reach. But I think at this point, Carolina needs offensive line help, so you may want to take them before they do.
Yeah, I would rather. I don't. There's different views on Cross. I don't know about at 5. Yeah, I don't. I would
I'm there with you.
gun to my head to make a decision for the fans. I probably wouldn't take Cross at 5.
I wouldn't either, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I think it would just be a reach. And Joseph, I get it. You don't think that crosses a reach at 5? Not much. I don't think that it's the biggest reach. Let me just say that much. I don't think it would be the biggest reach. I would feel more comfortable taking him at 7 than I would at 5. So in my mind, I would rather take Sauce if it really came down to it. So for the chat to see it again, for this situation, if it came down to it, I wouldn't mind taking Sauce at that 5, figuring out, okay, I mean, in an ideal world, taking Cross at 7, but seeing maybe, I mean, do they trade that back to collect more capital? I mean, I'm not
That's
sure. I feel like
definitely
the
in
fans
play.
may lose their mind.
I think that's in play because especially with all these cap issues, if you trade back, it helps the cap out.
Yep, I agree with you, man. Coach Ed says Kansas City, as long as you have 15, 10, and 87, as well as Reed, it's hard to bet against them. But to be them, man, you have, oh, excuse me, but to be them, man, you have to beat them. Until then, it's Kansas City, but the rest of the division did their game up. I mean, I agree with you, Coach. That division's looking scary. As a Giants fan, I'm glad that we play in a shitty division.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I'm ultra happy that one of those quarterbacks did not go to Philly or Washington. You know what I mean?
Oh, me too, man.
It's a there's a possibility, and I think it's a strong possibility. The whole AFC West makes the playoffs. I think those three teams can all take the wild card.
Has that happened before?
I don't think that has happened, but you can one can win the division, and since there's three wild cards now, the other
Mm,
three can all take three wild cards.
jeez, man.
That'll be something. That'll be a narrative.
I mean, and then you got to think about it with, Joey B coming back, then Deshaun. On top of that, how is Mac Jones going to progress with the Patriots over there, right? How is, what if, hypothetically speaking, let's say, the Bills start off a little bit slow, and let's say they take, second place in that division. I don't think that's likely. I think they win that division easy. But I mean, it's going to come down to it. And I would not be shocked if that entire division made the playoffs. I'm gonna just be honest with you, dog.
Yeah,
That division ain't fair. I'm glad we don't play that division for another. I think it's like another 3 years. We don't play that division,
that's
so
good.
I'm good off that shit. Coach Ed says I heard on the Michael K show that Watson's salary for 2022 is 1 million. That leaves the other 4 years averaging 57.25 million per year. That's heavy.
That's very heavy.
Uh Dog, that's heavy as hell, man.
It shows
Uh
you. It shows you what teams are willing to do to get that elite quarterback. I think we were talking about that, and they're willing to do whatever. I think
yeah,
it's heavy, but I think down the line in 2-3 years that's probably going to be the price. I
yeah.
think that's tomorrow's price.
I mean, I think you're absolutely right. And there's going to be quarterbacks coming up that are going to need to get paid. And I mean, when you just look at what the Browns had to give up just to get to Deshaun Watson, I mean, they trade 3 first-round picks, a third, and a fifth-round pick. Again, it's good that they weren't able to trade. Excuse me, that they didn't trade any other players, so they still have that roster there. They still got some weapons on both sides of the ball, but Jesus, that contract is huge, man.
I
Because it's
think
like, I mean, you dug yourself into a situation with Baker, and now you're hoping that Deshaun could get you out of that situation, which I think he could. But I mean, with how that division is, I think the Bengals are going to be a better team this year. I mean, I think the Ravens got something to prove. I'm not going to give up on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I mean, that division's looking nasty too. I mean, I'm not too
yeah.
sold on Pittsburgh. I mean, not with Mitchell Trubisky, if I'm being real.
Yeah, I'm not big on Pittsburgh, but I don't know how, but weirdly they don't have a losing record in the last 15 years, so they're
Yeah,
they're gonna float. I don't think they're gonna come on top, but
yeah. I mean, hey, look, when you think about it, man, that again, I think that's where the league is heading towards. You got to have one of these top end quarterbacks. I don't want to be stuck in a a Tannehill or Kirk Cousins situation. Not saying that you can't win with those kind of quarterbacks, but I just think that with how the league looks to be going, you're gonna need a gunslinger, man. I really do think you're gonna need a gunslinger, but for right now, as a Giants fan, we got to focus on the foundations, and I really think that once we fix this offensive line, address the defense a little bit, but for me, mainly fix this offensive line, I think we could get cooking. And even if DJ ain't that guy, I really like the QB class for next year. Which leads me to my next question, Mace. What are some draft prospects? I mean, you believe that the Giants should look out for?
Um, Shoot, yeah, I was just looking at some today. I'm Everybody knows Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. So
Mhm.
I'm not really gonna. I don't think we're gonna be at a bottom five, bottom eight team. I think if you're not a bottom five guy, like those guys are projected, as the top two QB. So just to dig
Yeah.
in a little, um, Dable, they seem like they like those big, tall. We're just gonna go based off the history. The 6'4", six
Mhm.
three guy with big arm, athletic. I like Anthony Richardson. He still has a lot to prove, but I was just looking at some little clips and some little YouTube. He seems like he has the tangibles and the talent. So he's from Florida. He's a guy. I was watching some Phil Jerkovic. He 6'4", another 6'4" guy. I think like 220, 230. Very mobile. Can make guys miss. Can run that RPO. Big arm guy. Um, I would say Spencer Rattler, but who knows?
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm not sure
he
how he's gonna
sucked.
pan out.
Yeah, he sucked
Yeah, he. I mean, I remember there was some Giants fans on Twitter that was saying that he's going to be the next New York Giants QB,
a
and
lot. Yeah,
all of a sudden that boy just disappeared, dog. I was like, what the hell happened?
lost
Like
his job to Khalid.
everything, bro. Like, I mean, I hope that he can bounce back, but Jesus Christ, dog, he did not play well last year. Um, and Moran, I agree with you, man. He says with what these QBs are making, hopefully Daniel Jones has a good year and can give us a discount. I mean, hopefully. I mean, he's dealt with some injuries. Um, I think that when you look at Daniel Jones just as just as a player, I don't think that you can really demand much. I mean, you haven't proven anything for me at least, for where you could demand, that next QB salary. Excuse me, that next big payday as for a QB. Um, I mean, I think that he could take a fair contract, but I just think it comes down to will the Giants give it to him? Because I'm not too entirely sure that they're going to, Mike. Um, I think that they may look to move on to him. Excuse me, move off of him next year. If I'm being
He
real, Mike.
definitely shouldn't be resetting any markets at
No,
all.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't give a damn if this man comes in and throws 50 touchdowns. I'm not having him reset the market, man. But what I would do personally is if he does come in here and has a better year than what we saw in his rookie season. He throws more touchdowns. We see that he's taken steps forward. Um, I mean, do you franchise tag him for a year? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think that honestly, if you're asking me, I wouldn't have an issue doing that. Let's see you do it for one more year. That's not a bad option for a bridge quarterback if you do decide to go and draft your future quarterback in next year's draft, because obviously there is not that guy in this draft.
yeah. I kind of sit on that too. Where I stand with Daniel Jones, I think he has the traits. I think he has the tangibles. I think he's smart, big, fast. He has it all. I just want to see him one more time behind a competent offensive coordinator and a competent offense and an offensive line, and see what he can be. And then we move from there. Like you said, if he performs, you franchise tag him, see if he could do it again.
My bad, Mace. We lost your audio for a little bit. I apologize on that.
It's all. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was just saying where I stand with Daniel Jones. Uh, I I think he deserves one more shot. If he goes out there and perform, I think you franchise tag him. It's just interesting to see him behind like a competent offense and a confident
Yeah.
uh offensive coordinator. It's all about the offense, and Dable and Kafka are supposed to be one of the better uh offensive minds in the league. When we look at Joe Judge,
Mhm.
there wasn't a single thing that he offered this team. But these two guys, they offer something. They give us an advantage somewhere. So it's it's all on Jones, and I'll be watching it. And if he performs, then I don't have no problem bringing him back.
Yeah, and you made some good points there, Mace. And for me, I wouldn't have excuse me, I wouldn't have a problem bringing him back either. But for me, it would have to be on the franchise tag. Now, I'm not too sure what that number would be. I don't know if you know what the number would be for the franchise tag. I don't
I
think it
think
would
it was
be
like
too
20.
much.
It's about 23, I think, or 25, somewhere close to there. I'm around that range, but about 20 something, or 27. It's either 27, 25, or 23.
I mean, with okay, so my thing is, right, and we could talk about this as well. I mean, prior to the Logan Ryan cut, the Giants were projected to have 87 million next year in the cap. Now with the Logan Ryan cut factored into the cap, the Giants are going to be having 99 to 100 million next year in cap. I mean, do they think that that's not a bad option? I mean, franchise tag him for a year, and if you don't even think that he is your guy, I mean I don't think he's a bad bridge quarterback. And maybe you get a Josh Rosen situation where a team offers you a second round pick. I
Yeah,
mean, it's possible. I
yeah.
mean, we've seen it happen. I mean, and who's to say that the Colts get their guy this year? I mean, maybe they look next year to get their guy, or maybe they look to get that bridge quarterback. So they don't just throw their rookie into the fire. I'm not sure, but for me, I think that if he comes in and he has a year where we could say to ourselves as fans, okay, this guy's taken some steps forward. He's looked a lot better. We maybe give him another year under this system, get him some more weapons. I mean, maybe get him if we don't go center in this draft, and let's say next year Feliciano's not on this team, maybe they add themselves a stud center in the draft or in free agency. I mean, give this guy another chance behind the line. I know some fans may not agree with that. I know that some fans want him gone yesterday. So, so for me, it's like I have no problems giving this guy a chance next year if he does show this year that he's taking steps forward and that he's looking like a quality quarterback and not throwing, duck interceptions to defensive tackles, aka like he did
Absolutely.
against the Bucks. Uh,
Absolutely. My question to you would be, um, just roughly, it doesn't, you know what I mean? What would that have to look like, numbers wise, and interceptions and games won? What would bringing Jones back? What would be acceptable for you? Where you're like, all right, let's bring him back. Let's tag him. Let's see.
I mean, for me personally, I mean, I want to see him get 30, 35 touchdowns. I definitely want to see the turnovers cut a little bit more. I thought that he did a good job at fixing that last year. Um, so I would like to see the turnovers down a little bit. I like to see his pocket presence and just his awareness just improve. Um, I know that some people will say that they're not a fan of his reads and how quick he goes through them, which I get, but I think that there are times that this offensive line doesn't give him the time to fully go through his reads. Now, I am aware that there are times the O line does give him time and he just doesn't go through them. He just sticks to one read. But hopefully that could change with Dable and Kafka. I mean, you would hope that that could change with Dable and Kafka.
Yeah, I
And
think so.
yeah, I mean, and for me, Mace, I mean, I've been saying this, and I mean, some people may think I'm kidding, but I just don't think that when you look at Jason Garrett, that he was calling like a modern offense. I mean, people said that we had like an '80s offense, an early 2000s offense. Even if we did, it would have been the worst offense in the league. That's how bad it was. Uh,
Absolutely.
it's like
Like you were saying, the redlining he does. I think that's just the pre snap. It was a pre snap offense, so it's just like, oh, the safety's back. This route has to work, and I think he gets caught up on that. I think with Dable, he's gonna give him more options and
I
give
think
him
so too.
three reads, and where he was kind of better with the West Coast, and just let him pick and choose and stuff like that, and we'll really see what we really got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that Dable is going to be able to scheme these guys open better than what Jason Garrett was able to do. I mean, Jesus Christ, how many fucking stick routes did I have to see last year? How many curl routes do we have to see? And it's like, I mean, okay, now that we don't have Evan Ingram on this team, hopefully we don't, see any more of these interceptions coming off of our receivers' hands popping up in the air that we saw with Evan
Yeah,
Ingram.
he was
Um,
the king of that.
Oh god, it fucking pissed me off. But I know he's with the Jaguars now, so hopefully he can bounce back. Um, but for me, it's like you would hope that Dable and Kafka could scheme these guys better than what Garrett could, or what. And it was the same playbook with Freddie Kitchens, but I don't think that Freddie Kitchens was a good play caller. He didn't build on his plays. It was just at times it just kind of felt like he would just pick a play and just okay, I'm gonna pick another
Let's see,
play.
like, yeah, let's
Like
just try this out, and I
yeah,
felt
see
that
how
way
this
too.
works, and it's like I don't know, man. I really want to see how he looks behind a competent offensive coordinator. I don't think that it's I don't think it's a coincidence, if I'm being honest with the chat with you, Mace, that the last time that this kid played relatively decent, he had an okay offensive coordinator in Pat Shermer. And I'm not saying Pat Shermer was, some godsend offensive coordinator, or that he was this scrub of a coordinator. Thought he was about average, but I thought that he played to DJ's strengths. And why is it
Absolutely.
that every season after that, when Pat Shermer what hasn't been here, DJ looks completely different. He doesn't look like that guy we saw in his rookie season.
Yeah, I think a popular phrase, they ruined him, right? They tried to, they took away his ceiling to raise his floor, right?
Yeah.
They coached him not to play through his weaknesses, right? When they should have tried to let him grow through those weaknesses. You know what I mean? So them trying to get the ball out of his hand quick, make decisions quick, short passes. It just ruined him. And he's a good thrower of the ball. He's a good passer. You know what I mean? So they should let him use that, and they hardly ever did it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that's where Dable is gonna, just be different. It's gonna be open. It's gonna be a, like you said, a today's offense, man. To you throwing the ball, explosive plays, like
Yeah. I mean,
we never
that's what you
had it
gotta
here.
hope. I mean, and I want to see. I don't have okay because I've had this conversation with someone today actually about this. I don't have an issue if DJ's getting interceptions and they're happening downfield. That's telling me that he's taking some shots downfield, whether that's 50-50, whether that's whatever. I don't have an issue with that. I want to see this kid take more chances throwing the ball downfield, because it seemed like last year we just didn't do that at all, unless it was John Ross, going on a stream, or excuse me, on a streak or anything, or a post. But for me, I really want to see the ball get not only just for me. I want to word with what I'm saying correctly. Excuse me, carefully. I want to see not only the field get stretched, but I want to see improvements in this kid's game. Because I think that he
Absolutely.
has the tangibles. I think that he has, things that you can work with. Is he this Josh Allen quarterback? No, I'm not saying that. But I think that he has tangibles that you can work with. And I think that he has, certain abilities that other quarterbacks in this league do not have. And I think that, when you look at Dable, I think that he can really capitalize off of that more than what Jason Garrett could have ever capitalized off of that with Daniel Jones. And
Well said, bro.
I don't know. You really just got to imagine that this offense takes a step forward. I mean, and I know that there's some fans that say, okay, Kenny Galladay, they don't see him being that long term answer after next year. I've seen some fans saying that we should cut Kenny Galladay next year. I saw some people talking about that we should trade him to Green Bay. I saw that on Twitter, and that kind of made me laugh a little bit, because I don't
Yeah,
think
that stuff makes me laugh too, bro. It's like, come on, he's got to play that contract out.
that's what I'm
One,
saying,
nobody would
bro.
even take him like at that price tag. We just seen
Exactly.
what Cooper just went for.
Exactly, bro. And it's like, nah, we wouldn't get anything near what, in my honest opinion, that I feel that would be equal value for what we paid Kenny Galladay. I mean, I think at most you're getting maybe a fourth round pick, I mean, but I think you'd be looking to get a fifth round pick, especially with what he's due to make this year.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have anything against Galladay. I think he was just used wrong. They bought a flashy toy and didn't use it, and he
Yeah,
seemed like a decoy. They used him as a decoy.
yeah.
Um, he'll look completely different under Dable. I think I said something like that, and Carl Banks had even he like facts. I was just like the most confusing thing was the Giants begging to get Galladay and spending 2-3 days with him and
hmm
paying all that money to not use him. I
It
think
made
some
no
fans just
sense.
I don't think I was just looking at the stats the other day. Galladay never had more than 8 targets in a game. Like his most targets was like 7 or 8. Like, come on, you just
Jesus,
you
man.
can't pay a guy that much money and not feed him the ball.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, what it made no sense to me. I mean, looking at it, in hindsight, why you pay this man the money you paid him, and you don't even target this man downfield. You don't even give him, an opportunity to make a 50-50 ball. We only saw that really with Jake Fromm. I mean,
Yeah,
what was the point of you even bringing him here? It's unacceptable. What was the point of you bringing him here? And to the fans and this is what makes me laugh, to the fans that are calling for this guy to get traded or to get cut, y'all are probably still the same ones that were begging for him to come here, dog. Like,
yeah,
don't be switching up right now. I think that Galladay could have a bounce back year. In
he
my honest
will.
opinion, Mace, I think he could be kind of used like that Gabriel Davis over there in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
around the same build. I mean, I think that Galladay could, if he could stay healthy. Granted, if he could stay healthy, he'd be dealing with that hip and that hamstring a little too much for me. But if he could stay healthy, I think that he could be used in that Gabriel Davis role. But
Yep.
in my honest opinion, I mean, I think that the offense, if it's not going to run through Saquon, I mean, I think if you're not going to get your number one wide receiver this year, I mean, I think it's got to run through Kadarius Tony, in my honest opinion.
I think so too. I would run it through Saquon and Tony. Like you said, Galladay, he's going to be my deep post routes and 15-yard out routes, just
Yeah,
deep guy, like get streaks, get him one on one down the field. But I think Tony would probably lead this team in receptions, and he can be used in many ways. And anytime Tony was on the field, he looked good. He looked like a star. You know what
yeah,
I mean? It was very limited. You know what I mean? But he looks special. You know what I mean? So I'm very curious of how he's gonna look with Kafka and Dable, and I think we're gonna be happy. You know what I mean? We deserve it. We haven't had that true guy since we got rid of our guy, number 13. But I
yeah.
think Kadarius Tony can fill those shoes and be that true 1,000-yard
Perfectly
receiver.
said. Perfectly said, bro. And I agree. I agree with that statement 100%. I thought that we should have used him more, honestly. I know that we had some issues getting him on the field. I think that's got to
Why did it
change.
take 3-4 weeks to use him? Like Jason
Bro,
Garrett's an idiot. Like
exactly, dog. Like, why? For what, bro? It makes no sense to me.
his
Like,
first play, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like they've been hiding this.
yeah,
Like,
bruh, I felt that way during the Dallas game. Bruh, I walked away from that Dallas game and I was like, ain't no fucking way we haven't been using this man. Ain't no fucking way we have not been
I think
using
it
this
just
man.
speaks on the incompetence we had, bro.
Bro,
Like
it made no sense, man.
Garrett was on record saying like he's not ready. Well, if that's how he looks when he's not ready, oh man, I can't
Yeah,
wait.
I
I
mean,
can't
bro,
wait.
you and me both. I think that I'm really interested to see how Kafka's going to use this guy. I know that there's fans saying, use him like Debo, use him like Tyreek Hill. I mean, I want to see him touch the rock a lot. I'm not going to lie. Pause.
Definitely, he needs
But,
10 touches. Like
bro,
just
facts,
give him the
bro.
ball. Just give
Yeah,
him the
I
ball.
agree with you, bro. It's like, yeah, you could use him like in that Debo role. I think he might have to put on a little bit of weight if he's going to be taking hits like that, but he could do it. And then when you
Yeah,
look how elusive this kid is, I mean, teams are gonna really, really have to take notice to this kid, and we have not had that since OBJ. I
It's
mean, I mean,
exciting to talk about, bro.
bro,
Like,
it makes me really excited. And honestly, if we're
yeah,
just talking about just this season alone, if Saquon's gonna be here, this offense makes me excited. Because
it
now, I mean, you're getting a Saquon that's 2 years, coming off of this serious injury. We're getting him a better offensive line. At least it's looking like. I mean, you're getting competent, or what we believe are competent and modern play callers and what we're used to dealing with. Uh and hopefully, we can really just play to our players' strengths. And one thing that Judge used to say was, "Tell me what you can do, not what you can't do." And it just his second year, I kind of felt like he was walking back on that. Why the hell was Nate Solder playing over Matt Pert?
I,
For what?
it was a clear disconnection between, and I think there's some reports on it. It was a disconnection on uh, front office and coaching staff on just the outlook of the O line. I think Dave Gettleman. I think that was all Dave Gettleman, and he believed in Lemieux and Pert and the guys he drafted and Joe Judge and all
Mhm.
four offensive line coaches we had were like, yeah, these are not, you know what I mean? These are not the
Yeah.
guys. Like,
Yeah, I mean, 100%, man. Wow, I have been slacking. I have not been clicking on the chats. I am so behind. Shout out to everyone in the chats. Y'all are blowing up the chats, and I am, like I said, I'm behind as hell. So we're gonna get to the chats real quick.
some chat love. Yes, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Jaden the champ, I appreciate you stopping by. The champ is here. Yes, sir. DMAC Warrior asks, should the Giants try to restructure Bradbury? What do you think, Miss?
Try, yeah, absolutely. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Why
Yeah.
not? I don't know if he's willing to, and I don't think he is, but I would add another year. You know what I mean? Try to balance out that contract so we can, make some money. Because for me,
Yeah.
the Bradbury, I don't think we touched on it. I don't think it's a skill thing. I think it's just a cap thing with him. I think it's all about
I
cap
agree.
allocations and the price tag.
I think so too, because look, I know that Wink has a certain preference with how he likes his corners. I think Adoree Jackson is going to really thrive in this defense, but I mean, I really wish the Giants would approach this guy on a restructure. Look, I know that Shane isn't really in favor of doing that, and I get it, but I mean, if you feel that you're not getting, the value that you feel is what Bradbury is worth, I mean, I think it's worth it at least. I mean, wait until maybe the draft and see how it is, or or maybe someone gives you a fourth round pick, or maybe a third round pick. I would say a fourth round pick at this point, for Bradbury after Gilmore signs, whether that's with the Panthers or the Raiders. Um, I mean, I don't know. I would love for the Giants to restructure him, DMAC, but I just don't know if Shane is going to be willing to do that. He said that he wasn't opposed to it, but he prefers not to. I know that we restructured Bradbury and Sterling Shepard's, but for me, it's like they didn't really have a choice. They're coming off of injury. They could outright be cut, but I mean, well, they had a choice, obviously, but you know, at least in Sterling Shepard's case, he didn't, because where was he going to go? Let's be real.
Yeah,
So I don't think that's the same case with Bradbury. I think that Bradbury knows his value, and I mean, I think that if you're Bradbury, you wait. But I think the Giants should at least try to approach him, man. Giant Opinion Sports says if Daniel Jones is as bad as some Giants fans make him out to be, we should have a top 5 pick. Yeah, I
true.
mean, all I'm gonna say is, Mace. I mean, when this kid was out of the lineup, this offense did not look the same. We couldn't even score a damn touchdown,
Yeah, we couldn't even play football. Like
bro.
the
It was
offense
bad.
was like bad. Like when he was in, like I just feel like it was like below average. But once he left, it was just like they could not even make a completion like at all.
Yeah,
It was scary.
yeah. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and it's like, honestly, I felt that a college team could have beat this team. That's how bad this freaking offense was. Not even the defense. I thought this offense was just atrocious. Um, and hopefully, we could see them, bounce back this year, man. Um, Bells, I appreciate you stopping by. He says Watson to Cleveland. What do y'all think? Yeah, we spoken about it a little bit earlier, Bells. I like it. I like that they didn't have to give up any of their core players to move for him. You get to keep them, and on top of that, excuse me, you get to keep those players, and on top of that, you get a quality quarterback. And if you're Cleveland, you're hoping that he could get you out of that hole that you dug yourself in with Baker Mayfield, and we'll see where he ends up.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, you pretty hit it on the nail, bro. I think they're just trying to upgrade that position and get that top guy, and I think they're in contention. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
let's see where Watson could get them.
yeah, I agree with you. Let's see here. Mark the Blue Giant says, Mace, will Saquon bounce back this year?
Good question. I think so. I don't think it could get any worse. Science and sports, the sports world, they always speak on the second year is the year for Saquon. So I think the offensive line should be better. I think he should be healthier. I think the offensive play caller should only be better. So we should only expect better from Saquon. What he will be, I don't know, but I'm interested and I'm rooting for Saquon.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for Saquon. He's a specimen. He's special, and you don't just use him as a runner. You use him as a football player. You just got to get the ball in his hands. You know what I mean? Put him in motion. Put him in the slot. You know what I mean? Put him. At wide out, screens, everything. It's
yeah.
not just about running the ball north and south every play.
I mean, yeah, perfectly said. I mean, I've always thought the Giants should use this guy as an Alvin Kamara role, and he's not going to be your every down bruiser back. But I think that if you use him like Alvin Kamara, I mean, you're using him to his full ability. Um, I mean, this guy's a good, catcher out the backfield. He can go out, with the wide receivers. We saw that against the Saints game last year. We know what he can do when, he has space. And I think that, again, you're getting a Saquon Barkley who is, again, it's 2 years off of this injury, and he's going to be having a better offensive line. So, but yeah, let's get into the next comments. Coach says, QB coach will be critical to DJ's development and play. If they connect, Jones produces. It will be smart to then tag him and see where he goes. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's perfectly said, Coach. Um, I mean, I trust that an offensive mind like Dable and an offensive mind like Kafka can really help Daniel Jones. I think that this was, in my opinion, I wanted Pep Hamilton a little bit more than I wanted Kafka. Kafka actually wasn't even on my radar, if I'm being honest with you. But I really wanted Pep Hamilton. But after doing my due diligence on Kafka, I think that this was the best situation for Daniel Jones, and you just got to hope that his play improves. But let me see real quick. Mike Moron says, "Yeah, he's probably gonna get the Kirk Cousins treatment. Hopefully, it doesn't put us in QB hell." I don't think that it would put us in QB hell, Mike. I think that the Giants are looking towards next year to find their guy, and I think that if they can get their guy next year, whether it's Daniel Jones or whether it's Tyrod Taylor, I think you can't go wrong either way. I think those are two good bridge quarterbacks. One is obviously cheaper than the other, but I don't think you could go wrong either way. But I would prefer if if you do move off of Jones next year to keep Tyrod Taylor. Bell says Colts are going to get Baker Mayfield or Matt Ryan. What do you think, Mace? I think they go the Baker Mayfield route, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I think Baker just because you still have that potential. Matt Ryan is what he's pretty much done. He probably have a year or two left. You still got that if factor with Mayfield and what he can be. The
Hmm.
the development, you know what I mean? That part.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that, I mean, you could make an argument for why Matt Ryan should get shipped to the Colts. I think that, you know, um, I if I really if I'm being honest with you, I don't think Matt Ryan is a bad quarterback. I think he is on the decline a little bit, but I think he's serviceable, more serviceable than Philip Rivers was, even though he got them to the playoffs, I believe. But I think that Matt Ryan, he could come in and he could be that nice. I mean, if you keep him for 2 years, he could be that nice bridge quarterback till you get your guy next year. And I think that wouldn't be a bad option, but not under what that cap price was going to be for this year. I don't know if the Falcons restructured it, but he was due to make a lot of damn money this year.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know about that, but I could see Baker Mayfield going to the Colts, but I for some reason am penciling him in to go to the Panthers. We're gonna see how that pans out, but I could see him going to the Panthers. Um, Giant Opinion Sports says just win, baby. Shout out the chat. We got 20 in here watching, and we got 5 watching on Twitter. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Bell says, who's better, Baker Mayfield or Daniel Jones? I'm gonna let you answer this one first, Mace.
Um, to be unbiased and not be a homer. So I think Baker Mayfield has done more. I think Daniel Jones is the better talent overall. I think Jones has more just more traits, more tangibles in his favor. But if you look at situations, Baker he's had one of the better situations in
Hmm.
football. They've tried to throw everything at him, and he did not succeed with it. So I think if you flip the situations, I think Jones would be better than Baker. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I stand on it.
Nah, I mean, great point there, man. Bells, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been saying I would take Daniel Jones over Baker Mayfield anytime, any day. I think that Baker Mayfield's had, if not the best, one of the best offensive lines, a stout running game. I mean, a beast of a running game. Let's just say that. They had some receivers over there. On top of that, last year they had Austin Hooper with Njoku. I know they got rid of OBJ, but still they had some receivers over there. You got a stout defense. So, and to me, he just hasn't done enough. I think that he's been average, if I'm being honest with you. I think that he's been in a really good situation and he just hasn't been able to take them to the next level. I know that he took them to the playoffs, but for me, it's like it's not enough. I think that he's just been an average quarterback, and if you're being average with what the Browns are giving you, which is, in my opinion, quality talent, and you're getting a quality foundation around you, um, I think that you how are you going to succeed? Let's say, Mace, let's be honest, let's say the roles were switched. There's no way in hell this kid survives in the situation Daniel Jones has been in. Are you fucking kidding me?
Absolutely
Are
not.
you kidding me, man? Like,
Absolutely not.
no. But I think that Daniel Jones could thrive if he had that Cleveland offensive line, if
Yeah,
he had that running game.
I think so. I think Jones would be way better than him, and under those, that two-headed back system they got two Pro Bowl running backs, like you
Yep.
said, a top offensive line, no debate, top three, and you had OBJ, you had Jarvis Landry, and you guys just you're not making it work. Like, yes, you made the playoffs, but the league keeps going. You got to keep developing, and we haven't seen it. And to be fair, like Baker is, he had an injury, and that's what they're trying to say, the soldier injury, and he played on it on a contract year. You probably shouldn't have done that, bro. You know what I mean? If you knew you were that injured, because your your performance is your stock, your body is your stock. These guys are aware of that stuff, so it'd
Yeah.
be interesting to see him in a new situation. But yeah, I'm still going with Jones. I'm going with Jones.
Yeah. I mean, you and me both, brother. Giant Opinion Sports says big facts on the re-snap. He's staring at safeties. Yeah, absolutely, bro. DJ has to get better at that. Um, you gotta hope again that Dable and Kafka can get that situated with Daniel Jones, because if not, he's not going to be in a New York Giants uniform next year. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. Um,
True,
uh,
true.
Super Taj says this offense should be more post snap.
I agree.
Yeah, me too. Great point, Super Taj. Uh, Super Taj says Garrett ain't that adaptive, bro. He wasn't adapted at all, man. God, I just want to beat the shit out that man. Excuse my language, man, but shit.
No, it's all good. It's the built up Giants frustration that's coming out.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
all,
It's
bro.
like Jesus Christ. Mike the Blue Giant says Garrett should be on Rikers Island. Hey,
Him and Dave Gettleman, bro. Mark,
yeah, bro,
they war criminals.
bruh, damn near terrorists, bruh. It's just they gotta pay for my mental health at this point, bro, or just like my therapy sessions, because
Absolutely.
this shit ridiculous, man. I mean, look, dog. One of the things I love, Mace, that you do is you troll the shit out of Dave Gettleman on Twitter. You a fool with it, man. You be trolling the shit out of Dave Gettleman on Twitter, dog.
Have to. You gotta love Dave Gettleman, man. That guy right there, man. God bless Dave Gettleman. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
He
He's
probably in Cape Cod right now or some shit,
oh my God, that guy.
pissing me the hell out.
He,
Um, yeah, giant opinion. I agree with you. He says, run some damn high low concepts. Um, less. Oh, he said more curl routes. I know you kidding, giant
no
opinion. Get
no
the
more
fuck out of
no
here.
more curl routes, bro. No more curls, bro.
I don't want to ever see another curl route, man. That shit just traumatizing the hell out of me, dog. Um, D Mac Warrior says, man, and in caps, because I don't know if you can see this, Mace. He says, man, fuck Garrett. All
Yo,
right. Yeah.
facts.
Facts, man.
Hashtag
Yeah.
facts to that.
For real, bro. Mike Moran says, yes, that's unacceptable. Uh, Giant Opinion says, Garrett didn't scheme a single play for Galladay. Pathetic. Yeah, bro, it was pathetic as hell. I mean, you pay that man all that money, he didn't even have a single touchdown this season. Come on, man.
Ridiculous.
Bro, like, it don't make no damn sense to me, dog.
Incompetent.
For real, bro. And I agree with you, Mike. He says them not using Tony the first few weeks was a joke too, bro. You're not lying. It made no, bruh. To this day, when I walked away from that Cowboys game, I said, "Ain't no fucking way we have not been using this guy. There ain't no way that we have not been using this guy." And he just balled out like that. And to
And
your point,
everybody
Mace,
wasn't even healthy that game.
that's what
It
I'm
took everybody
saying.
to go get injured for us to figure that out. Like it's sad that and that's one thing that this team has in their pocket. We never got to see that offense on the field.
Yeah.
It would always be a what if. We seen it
Yep.
a little bit the Saints game. Those I think they had 6 snaps together, but I think somebody got injured that game too in the Saints game. But whew, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, look, you're absolutely right, and I got to give that much to the kid because he hasn't been dealt his full, competent of weapons, right? He hasn't been able to have all of his weapons on the field at the same time compared to a lot of these other QBs throughout the league. I know players get injured, but I mean, facts are facts. He hasn't been able to have his weapons on the field, and I think that I know it's only one game, but when you look at that Saints game, man, I mean that that game got me because I really thought we was going somewhere after that game. I'm gonna just be honest with
same,
you.
same.
Shit. And I got to tell you this much, man. Kadarius 21 off against the Cowboys with Mike Glennon. Mike long neck ass Glennon.
Facts.
Like, bro, like, don't tell me that this kid can't come in here and lead this team in receiving and be a dog for us, bro.
Absolutely, bro. That Saints game is the game that I like to use for reference because to when I try to defend Jones, um, he has those games every once in a while, but what separates those top guys from those middle of the pack and bottom guys, Jones has to start stacking those games, right?
Hmm.
We can't see those games once or twice a season from Jones no more.
Yep.
We need to start back to back, you know what I mean? Or we see it, you know what I mean, every 2-3 games, you know what I mean? And if we can get that from out of Jones, it'd be, picture if we had a game like that, 4 or 5 times a year from Jones.
Hmm.
It's a world of a day difference. So yeah.
Yeah, nah, and I agree with you, bro. Perfectly said, man. I dropped the mic right there. Uh, King Tone, what's good? Shit, y'all really blowing up these chats. I'm still behind, bruh. All right, I'm gonna try to get to all the new people I see in here. Mac, the Giants fan, what's good, my brother? Thanks for stopping by. Definitely got to have you on the show again, man. It was a lot of fun the last time. Let me go back to this comment here. Super Tosh says, "Don't forget, we finally go through. We're finally going through analytics. Analytics for once. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. When Dave Gettleman used to knock analytics and mock the hell out of them and call them computer guys and shit, that shit used to irk the hell out of me, bro. Like it
He-
just used to irk me. You feel me? Like why you
yeah,
so aggy for?
yeah,
Like
he's ignorant, man, and he's not open to new ideas or innovations. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
use it as a tool. You know what I mean? I'm not don't make all your decisions based off of analytics, but see what analytics has to say. You know what I mean? And he wouldn't
absolutely.
even do that. Like he's like, oh man, don't get me started with Dave Gettleman.
Yeah.
Dave
Nah,
Gettleman.
I agree with you, man. Super Tosh says it needs to run through Kadarius Tony. I agree with you. He also says they already have their Walmart Tyreek Hill, but shiftier. Hey, man, I mean, I'll take a Walmart Tyreek Hill any day, dog. Coach Eddie says, "I'm intrigued to see if the RPO is efficiently incorporated and used with much of the skill sets." Um, you would have to hope, man. I mean, I think that with how the offenses are shifting throughout the league, um, I feel like you have to at this point, man. And I think that it would actually benefit Daniel Jones, if I'm being real. Joseph Clark says, "Don't know if it's been mentioned yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if Willis is in at play. Is in at play at 5. What do you think of Willis, man? I really want to get your thoughts on this guy because I know a lot of Giants fans are, and I like the guy. I'm not gonna lie, I like Malik Willis, but I've seen some Giants fans say that this is the next guy. So, but I really want
Yeah.
to get your thoughts on him, man.
Malik Willis is a sensitive topic towards Giants fans, and I don't get why. Right. I think when you look at him as a quarterback, he he's he has a lot of things you like. You know what I mean? He's not a perfect prospect. He's not a blue chipper. There are a lot of things to clean up, but I think a lot of his flaws and weaknesses are things that are I think how would I say it? I think he has a lot of the traits that you just can't teach. You know what I mean? He
Hmm.
has the big arm, the speed. You know what I mean? He has the big time throws, the elusiveness. He can make guys miss. So I think those are the things that scouts fall in love with. I think he's a boomer bust prospect. I don't think his floor is pretty high. I just think if he gets with the right pair of guys and they coach this guy up, they're essentially going to have them a top quarterback. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
with the Giants, we like to give Dabes all the credit and Ken Dorsey and uh, Palmer, all that credit for developing, Allen, and the same thing with Kafka and Mahomes. I think it's a good situation for Malik Willis, where he could just sit back a year. Nobody's asking Willis to start here, and what a lot of fans don't realize, drafting Malik Willis isn't about 2022. Drafting Malik Willis is about 2023 and moving forward. And
Yep.
what
Yep.
that can be with him, the sky's the ceiling with that kid. You know what I mean? So there's gonna be a team that's going to take the risk because that's just what the league is about. And you know what I mean? If he pans out, you luck up. But if he doesn't, you keep shooting.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm just not. I understand that there's potential with the kid. I think that Dable may view him as that Josh Allen type guy. The big arm, the athleticism, the size. But I just think that right now we got more pressing needs than drafting a quarterback that is raw and that we're gonna have to develop. I just don't think the Giants are in a position right now to develop another quarterback when we don't have an offensive line that's finished yet. We still need an edge rusher. Now we need safety help. We're still gonna need a corner. We have two tight ends on this roster, really one tight end on this roster. I mean, we got other positions that we got to address. So I'm not in favor of taking Willis at 5 or any of these quarterbacks. If you feel that your QB is not on this team, you wait till next year, see what you got with Daniel Jones behind an offensive line, see what you got in Saquon Barkley behind an offensive line, and go from there. But Mike Moran says this offense has to at least be average, right? Um, yeah, Mark, you gotta hope that this offense can at least be middle of the pack next year. I'm not expecting them to, be a top 10 offense. I'm not expecting them, to, just be a better end offense in this league. But I am expecting average, especially if we can get an offensive line for this kid. What do you think, Mace?
I think the same. Think I think it's unrealistic to expect to be like you said, a top 15, top 10 offense, but jumping from what are we, 31st, 32nd to
Yeah,
19 or 20, like we got to clap our hands and take our victories, and you know what I mean, and just see that progression. So yeah, I think we should be at least about close to average, below average, and if we can get there, then that's a sign moving forward.
yeah, I agree with you 100%, Mace. Super Taj says, "Don't forget, we're finally going." Oh, I already read that. My ass. Haha. um, Giant Opinion Sports says they draft Willis Amount. I can't. This dude is still looking down his first read from last season. You a fool with that, Giant Opinion. But you're right. I'm not even gonna lie, man. I can't. I can't justify taking him. I've seen some fans and Mace. I mean, we could get your thoughts on this real quickly. I saw some fans saying that they want Hamilton and Sauce Gardner in the first round. Like, are you out your damn mind?
Look, I don't necessarily. I think us Giants fans, we have PTSD from Dave Gettleman, right? I think Dave Gettleman left us some trauma,
Hmm.
honestly, and we're at a point where we think you can't draft a tackle outside the top 10, right?
Oh,
Like
I agree. I agree.
I think there's other options. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? There's multiple ways to skin the cat. There,
Yep.
drafting a tackle at 5 or 7 isn't the only sole solution. Um, and I wouldn't be mad at a double defense. The thing about Shane and Dable, they're in their honeymoon phase right now, so everything is cute and cool, right? But if they take a tackle in the second, like a Tyler Smith, who I seen a picture clip uh, done with them on like YouTube. They were like interviewing him and stuff like that. I wouldn't be too mad. You know what I mean? But it has to plan out. It has to work. You know what I mean? So
I agree. I agree 100%, man. Um, Joseph Clark, he says, play to our players' strengths. Haven't seen that since Judge was hired. Eh, I mean, hopefully, our new coaching staff can play to our players' strengths. I don't think that it's unrealistic to say that, but I mean, I just got to see. I don't want to get my hopes up too high. I did that last year, and it burnt me. So I don't want to get them too high, but I do have some expectations with this team. Giant Opinion Sports says Schoen's gonna get his ass fired right off rip with that pick. Yeah, I mean, I, it could be possible, man. I mean, again, I know some fans, they want us to get us, get that tackle top 10 or within the first round. I know some fans want us to double up in secondary. I'm more of the mind of if an edge rusher is not there, I am okay taking a tackle in Devin Lloyd or a tackle in Sauce. I have no problem with that. But again, I'd still prefer an edge rusher more than anything. Coach Ed says, "What you talking about, Willis?" Making the ugly face. You a fool, Coach. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Taj. He says when DJ was out, we couldn't cross the damn 50. Yeah, we couldn't, bruh. This offense was pathetic when DJ went down, and I'm not saying that this offense was world beaters when he was in, but I mean at least we moved the ball around somewhat. Mike Moran says, without DJ, probably the worst offense I've ever seen. Yeah,
yeah,
dog.
I
This
agree.
offense was
Yeah,
terrible, bro.
I've never seen anything so bad ever.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Joseph Clark says that Judge offense was the biggest bunch of crap I've ever seen, and I'm a laid back fan. Yeah, you and me both, Joseph. I tend to be a more patient fan. I have my moments, where I want it right now, but I tend to be more patient. I'm really laid back with shit. But Joe Judge last year, I mean, I had moments where I wanted to rip my hair out, and I have no hair on my head. Well, I mean, I got a three, but I got no hair on my head. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Giant Opinion says if Tyrod wasn't already signed, I agree Willis is a possibility, but I think they showed their hand. They're going to roll with Jones for at least this year, and Tyrod is the backup. Yeah, I agree with you, GOS. That's a great point, man. He says if you're going to draft Willis, why waste 5 million on a QB3? Yeah, couldn't have said it best, man. I agree. Um, Joseph Clark says Saquon is Christian McCaffrey, but Joe Judge was an idiot. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying we should use him in a Kamara role, man. I don't think that he's your stereotypical running back. This kid could do a lot, um, and I think that when he's on the field, teams have to account for him. Yeah, I agree with you, Joseph. He says I think Daniel Jones is head and shoulders better than Mayfield's. Yeah, I agree with you, bro. Giant Opinion Sports says, "Give me a damn middle linebacker or a tight end for that money. Even a cornerback if Bradbury is going to be moved." Yeah, bro. If you're gonna waste $5 million on a QB3 and you draft a quarterback in the first round, to me, oh, we got Mace again. All right, Mace, I got you here, brother. Can you hear me, Mace?
Yeah, it like double joined me. I went out. I went out. That all right. Yeah, we're good now.
Yeah,
I think.
I got you, bro. Yeah, it's just you and me here. That was weird, but no problem, bro. Got you right here. Yeah, I agree with you, GOS. Again, if you were gonna waste 5 million on QB3 and draft your quarterback this year, um, you should have used that money towards a linebacker or a tight end. I agree with you 100%, bro. Mike Morin says, y'all think DJ could have led the Niners to the Super Bowl last year if he was their quarterback? Um, I don't think the Super Bowl, but I think he could have maybe brought them around the same of where they were at last year with Jimmy G. If I'm being real with you, um, I don't understand the hate that Jimmy Garoppolo gets. To be fair, I think that he's a pretty good quarterback. I think he's a little above average, in my honest opinion. But I think that him and DJ probably would have ended up in the same way, in the same situation last year if DJ was under the ball for the 49ers. GOS says a wet paper towel could have won with the 49ers. I agree with you, bro. Um, this is a question. Oh, hopefully we can get Mace back. Um, but this is a question from Mace. He says, Mace, do we get a wide receiver in the draft? If so, who? Now, I'm not sure if Mace can hear me, but I'm gonna answer the question until he can jump back on the line. But I think the Giants should look to pick up a wide receiver in this draft. I'm gonna just be real with y'all. I think the Giants should, whether that's in the third round, whether that's in the fourth round. I think the New York Giants should absolutely look to address the wide receiver position. I think that with how free agency is going, I thought maybe they would have picked up a Byron Pringle, but now he's with the Chicago Bears. Um, but yeah, oh, we got you back, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm back. Somebody had called. To answer your question, so I would love to get a receiver, but I think the receivers that I like is just completely out of play. I'm in love with Garrett Wilson. Um, that
Stud,
dude
bro.
from Ohio, yeah, he reminds me of like an off-brand OBJ. He's like a Stephen Diggs. He's 5'11", 6 foot, plays way bigger than his height. Great route runner, can go up and get it. Don't think he's as explosive, but it's just his ability to just make catches at the catch point. I like Chris Olave, but then again, I don't think we're in those stakes. Traylon Burks. Um, I don't know. This receiver class is so interesting because I just don't know how it's gonna fall. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm looking more towards guys like Sky Moore, who are like more realistic for us. Maybe he can be there in the third. I don't know. He's probably gonna go in the second, or John Mechie from Alabama. I wouldn't mind a guy like that, or David Bell. David Bell from
Yeah.
Purdue. I think he would be a good Z. You know what I mean? A good Z receiver for us. So those are some names that I like to answer your question, Mark.
Yeah, nah, and perfectly said, man. I mean, I wish there was somehow, some way we could get a Jahan Doxson without picking him up in the first round.
Yeah,
Um,
he's cold too. He's cold.
bro, his route running ability is insane.
Yeah.
I just gotta be honest with you, dog. Would I be? And that's the thing. Would I be shocked if they did? I might be a little shocked, but they may feel that there's that Stephon Diggs, in this draft that Dable needs for his offense. Um, I've always been a proponent of wanting to bring John Ross back. I think the Giants should. We're actually going to be making a video about that. Be out tomorrow. But I think the New York Giants should take a flyer back on John Ross. And
Absolutely.
I think that they should address it in the draft too. Get this kid some weapons. Let me put an emphasis on this. Get him some weapons that can stay on the field. Like, please get him some weapons that can stay on the field. Because I'm tired of us taking flyers on players that there's some upside, but they be dealing with injury histories. I'm tired of it at this point, man. Bells, I appreciate the kind words, man. For real. He says, I be listening all the time. Don't say much because I am lacking a lot in knowledge. Don't want to sound stupid, but I appreciate y'all insight. Big up, Big Blue Crew. Brother, you'll never sound stupid unless you say something outlandish. But even then, we ain't gonna judge you, man. That's why we're here. I appreciate the kind words. Again, y'all can find Mace's Twitter in the description. Go give him a follow. He makes I'm telling you, dog, he gonna have you cracking up. I promise you. I promise you that much. He gonna have you cracking up, man. Giant Opinion says Jimmy G is a slow motion car crash live on live TV. Yeah, bro. I mean, there's things I like about him. There's things I dislike about him, but for the most part, I mean, I think he's above average. And I think if he could go to the team like the Colts, which I hope he could, honestly, I think that would be his best option if the San Francisco 49ers decide to move on from him. I think that'd be the perfect fit for him, if I'm being real. Mac, the Giants fan, King Tone, I appreciate y'all stopping by as well. Ash, I appreciate you stopping by too. Eric Davis, Jonathan Studios, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping by. King Tone says, facts hit squad. It was something there for sure. Giant Opinion says it was 3 fucking years of wanting all the skill players on the field. It's a pipe dream at this point. I gave up on that dream. Honestly, I don't blame you, dog. I mean, there's definitely been moments where I've accepted that, we're not going to see all our full weapons on the field at the same time because it just never happens. But
It's sad. It's sad
it's
that
sad as hell.
we really haven't had. They got to get rid of that turf. Like we really never even had our full team. Like you
Yep.
said, in like the last 3 years, it's just man, get rid of turf. I don't know what their strength and conditioning do is. They need to do a investigation on just what is going on. Is it the training? Is it what the players are doing? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen a analytics stat that the Giants have been like one of the most injured teams
Yeah.
the last couple of years.
And I don't know what it is. I mean, I've made the comment that the way that Joe Judge kind of worked these players, I always felt that he overworked these players, in my opinion. I think that when you look at the muscles, I kind of treat them like a rubber band. When you stretch a rubber band and then you bring it down, you stretch a rubber band again and you bring it down. You do that enough times, you're eventually gonna rip the rubber band. And on top of that, we're playing on a turf field. And it's like so many players throughout the league, so many teams throughout the league, not just for the Giants, but for the Jets as well, were complaining that our turf was horrible. Our
Yeah,
turf was causing their teams injuries. And it's sad. It's really sad, man. I mean, and I hope that we could go to natural grass. John Mara has the money. Stop being cheap. Like, please. Um, Joseph Clark says the first game against Washington made me feel good about what the offense could be. Then Garrett and Judd struck again. Yeah, man. I that Washington game was definitely frustrating, especially with that Slayton dropped, Dexter Lawrence going off sides. But for me, it was definitely the Saints game. The Saints game sold me. I can't hold you.
yeah, same. I Washington and Garrett would do that. He would call one good game out of every three or four. It was just so I did not understand him. I don't know if it was a confidence thing to within the O line and the injuries and then Andrew Thomas going out. I do think he coached much different when Thomas was healthy and
Yeah,
Jones was in there.
yeah, I agree, man. Um, GOS says the team has to be more consistent for Jones to have a Saints game every week. You are absolutely right, GOS. Um, It has to be more consistent. And I think that we can get to that point, but there's certain things that we got to build on and certain things that we got to fix for us to do that. Um, Jaden says, yes, Mace, yes, Mace Priest. Yeah, keep preaching, bro. Giant Opinion says, you pick Willis at 5 and he ain't sitting. Let's just be real about that. Yeah. Uh, Fans would be calling for him the moment that DJ either takes a sack or he throws an
You know,
interception.
Giants Twitter, Chandler
Yeah,
Jones.
he scores, the final scoreboard is, 21-13, and DJ had both of those touchdowns. Like, they're going to be calling for him. So it's just, for me, man, it ain't worth bringing him in. It's just not. Ash says it's fishy that the Giants are silent. Yeah, I agree, man. We have been a little silent. I think that there are going to be a couple more tiny signings. I think if there is a big signing, maybe it's Deshaun Elliott from the Ravens.
Yeah, that's one I got my eye on. I think that makes it. It just makes sense. So
Yeah,
watch it. I think we're watching that Bradbury situation too. Something to
yeah,
keep
I
our eyes
agree.
on.
I agree, man. Joseph Clark says, I'm not advocating for anything, but just saying that if things don't break our way in the draft, that Gardner and Hamilton may be possible. Now, I know what you're saying, man. I don't want it, but I know what you're saying. GOS says they draft Willis at 5s. That Q shit is over. You're looking like a fucking gremlin that ate after midnight to me. All right, shit. Damn. Okay, tell them how you feel. Uh, Davis says, "What are your thoughts on drafting Devin Lloyd at 7? Do y'all think it's too early to take a linebacker like him? I think it's going to be great, and it's the safest pick to me besides maybe Sauce or Hamilton. What do you think about that, Mace?
I think seven's a little rich. Not it's not. I'm I would like him in the teens. Devin Lloyd. I don't think he's a Parsons, and I don't think he's that top 8 type of guy in this draft class. I'm not gonna be completely mad. You know what I mean? Because like I said, Shane and Daber, they're in their honeymoon phase. So everything they're doing is like, all right, yeah, that's cool. So I'm a trusted. I'm a trusted. I would rather a guy like Trayvon Walker or Kayvon Thibodeau or Sauce or Hamilton. I think there's a lot of good linebackers that are not named Lloyd and Dean, and you got Chad Mama or however you say his name from Wyoming. You got
Hmm.
the linebacker from Alabama, Brandon Smith, Leo Chanel from
I
Wisconsin.
like Leo Chanel a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of linebackers out there that I think the value is not so much with Lloyd and Dean. I think that second, third round, just let the board come to you, and you whoever you have that highest grade on, you take your shot at them.
I agree, man. Perfectly said, man. GOS says Drake London looks sexy if you go wide receiver early. Yeah, he definitely looks like a nice fit. I just don't think the Giants do go wide receiver, but if they do, I would love to have Drake London in the Giants uniform. Joseph Clark says we should absolutely get a wide receiver in this year's draft. Not too early in the draft, though. Definitely agree with you there, man. Jaden Alvis says Sky Moore is nice. I do like Sky Moore. Gotta be real with you. Um, Jonathan Studios says, why is he out of the question? Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, rookie wide receiver ones. Go for it at 7. Uh, sh- I mean, I don't think that it's necessarily out of the question. I just don't see it happening. I think that I think they would rather take a safety before they would take that wide receiver first, and I don't even want them to take a safety at that 7 pick. But I wouldn't be upset if they took themselves a Garrett Wilson. I think that he would be really nice in this offense. And if you're telling me that this offense could have Kenny Galladay, Garrett Wilson, Kadarius Tony, possibly John Ross, Darius Slayton, I mean, you're working with something. Giant Opinion says John Ross, aka One and Done. And I think he's still got some gas in the tank. I think you can get him on a cost effective deal. And I don't think any team has picked him up yet. So I'd like to at least try to bring him back. Ash says, why build it up for Jones? It's time to move on. Nah, I mean, I just think that we should just at least build up, again, the offensive line, the defensive line. I'm going to be honest with you, Ash. I don't think the Giants are going to bring this kid back. I really don't at this point. I think that they're just going to try to fill the holes that they need to fill and, pick their guy next year. I think that if he does play relatively good this year, maybe you put him on that franchise tag since you're gonna have, upwards towards 100 million in cap. You could kind of put that money towards the franchise tag and not have a problem with it. Since you're probably not gonna pay Saquon, I don't think he'll even be here at that point. But I don't think you necessarily got to build it up for Jones. But while he is here, at least put some pieces around him. Giant Opinion says you're building it up for both Jones and the next QB. These rookie QBs are straight ass. I agree with you, man. Coach Ed says Michael Lombardi tweeted David Ojabo injured his Achilles during his pro day. That's terrible news. Yeah, I don't know the severity to the injury. I don't know if he tore an Achilles or if he ruptured an Achilles. I have no idea. I definitely want to look more into that because Ojabo was a player that I really thought if the Giants traded back, I'd like to pick up, in my opinion. Joseph Clark says Giants have been one of the most injured teams since MetLife opens. Yeah, it's true. I, I wish I knew what the answer was. If I did, probably be a millionaire at this point. um, Eric Davis says, I like Ojabo. He has a limited potential, but he's more of a project. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we traded back, I would have no issues with that. Maybe to 10 or maybe even 12 if you trade back from 7. But again, I'm not taking him at 7. It's just too rich for me. Big task at hand says salute to Giants Nation, Big Blue Wrecking Crew. Yes, sir. I appreciate you stopping by. Big task at hand. Thank you. Um, Giant Opinion says if I'm a team like the Steelers, I'll invest a second for the future. Yeah, I mean, I think with them having Trubisky though, I think that they may look to have him as that bridge and maybe next year take their guy. Um, Tuto, I appreciate you stopping by. Mace, this is an OG right here. Tuto, all the way from Italy, says, Saluti Hit Squad. I can't read Italian. Saluti Hit Squad. Drop by your office to pay our proper respects. And for all Giants fans around the world, slap all stinky boys losers out the door. Forget about it. Hit. I appreciate that, Tuto. Always coming in with the energy. I appreciate that, man.
Shout out to Tudo, man. Shout out to Tudo.
Bro, that man do not be liking Eagles fans, dog. We got a kid Slay, and he's an Eagles fan, and he always gotta always be telling Slay to shut up. Um, but shit, we lost Mace. Um, I appreciate you guys, man. I mean, we got 20 watching, so I appreciate you guys stopping by and making the time to hang out with me and Mace. And I actually caught up to the comments now. Look at that. I appreciate that, man. But we're actually gonna end this out here, y'all. We are at an hour and 30 minutes for the episode. Mace, it was a pleasure talking to you today. It was a pleasure, getting to know you and really having you on the channel, man. I'd love to do this another time, man, for real.
For sure, man. Just thanks for the opportunity. It was great, man. I appreciate you, man, and thanks for letting me come on your platform and speak on my opinions. And I'm down to doing this again. Shout out to all the fans and everybody in the comments. Let's get this train moving forward, man. Let's go Big Blue. I think it's going to be a good year for us. A good year next year for the Giants fans.
I think so too, man. I think that we may be a better team that some people may think. I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but again, when you look at that schedule next year, it's looking kind of favorable in my opinion. But that's another conversation for another day. Y'all can find Mace's Twitter again in the description. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Hit Squad. Let us know your thoughts below, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.